Good afternoon and welcome to our Facebook Live this afternoon. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm from Gemini Crafts and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. So welcome to my coffee and card session this afternoon. We're actually revisiting a stamp set and set of punches that was available last year and which has been carried on to our catalogue for this year as it was so popular. So the stamp set that I'm using is called Christmas Gleaming, and as you can see from there, it features two large bulbul images and a small one. It features the holly, and that's what we used in our Facebook Live 2 days ago. Apologies I wasn't available yesterday. It has a Merry Christmas, some little dots, two sentiments which work really well together, and a little border edge. So the stamp set is called Christmas Gleaming. And the punches that we're going to use today, there are a set of two, and they can only be bought together. Last year there were 32. I need to check what the current price is in case that has changed, but that's £32 for both punches. One's large and one is medium. Hi Katie, hi Scylla. Thanks for joining me this rather damp and wet afternoon. Let me show you the card we made 2 days ago, just so you can see the all-round image. And I've got two here. This was one just stamped and coloured in. This is Mossy Meadow and Real Red Blends pens. And this was the one that I demonstrated using our alphabet, playful alphabet set, using the same stamp, and the little dots makes it really just fills in that detail. And after the live I added the little red gems, our Christmas gems, and inside I stamped Merry Christmas and the holly. So that was what I did 2 days ago, and today I'm going to feature the baubles from the same set. So what I thought I would do is some blue baubles. So I've got some of the snowflake paper. This is called Snowflake Splendor, and this is actually in our sale at the moment, along with 14 other packs of our papers. So they're all at 15% off that are in the sale, and that's the majority of the standard papers, so not the specialty ones that have gold embossing, but the majority of our standard papers. You can check online by going to my website geminicrafts.co.uk, or you can click on the link on Facebook which will take you to the list of all of the items. If you've got any queries on that, just contact me. So what I was thinking is having this as my background on my square card, and then first of all just using the punches to punch out some baubles to go onto there. So the punches work really well on both card and paper. I've got some card here, and so it's very simple, literally just you can either turn the punch over so you can see where you're punching, because if you wanted to, for example, you were punching this out, you could centralize this on a part of your paper. So for example, you could have that snowflake in there, or that snowflake, okay, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to punch some baubles in the plain blue. So this is Pacific Point. And what you can also do is punch our glimmer paper, which I had to hand and has disappeared. Oh, because I've turned it over. and it's white on reverse. So you can just literally punch out glimmer paper, and if you prefer, you can hold this down onto the table, press with the heel of your hand, and you'll get that bauble. Now you can use some of our other specialty papers as well, and we do have this lovely vellum, and so what I've done is I've actually punched some vellum baubles. Let me show you the full packs of vellum. So this has been cut down to 6 inches by 12, and they come as 12 by 12. So it's vellum with a flock placed on top of it. So we have this one here with an all-over design. We have this one here with a poinsettia design, and we have this one here with holly leaf design. So just to show you, well obviously you can see those are punched out, but let me just show you. Because it's quite a stiff vellum paper, it goes through the punch really well. So I'm just going to turn this over because I want to centralise my punch on a part of the design. So for example, I could choose that little bit so I have this floral design, like so. So it punches really easily, okay, and that makes quite a nice effect. You can have it on its own, or you can have it mounted onto another colour of card, and that would quite change the backing of it. So let's put a card together, and I'm actually going to do some stamping for the second card. Hi Jill. Hi Lynn. I hope you've got nice sunshine, Jill, because it's pouring with rain here. It's windy, it's cold, it's just not very nice at all. So my plan is to put one side of this paper on here. I can't quite decide. I think I'm going to go for that one, but let me have a look. And then, just for my first card, I was going to put my 2 baubles like so, and then one of my glittery one from our balmy blue glitter paper on top. Okay, these I could add this layer on if I wanted to. Okay, onto there. I won't for these because A, I haven't got those both lined up, and B, I want to use the blue of that layer. So what I might do is actually put these through an embossing machine to give them a bit more of an interest, and then this one is going to go lifted up on the top. So let me just choose an embossing folder, unless anybody wants to choose one for me. So I could actually add the snowflake embossing folder, as this has got snowflakes in the background. So let me just grab that. Of course, you can guarantee I can't find it. I know it's here somewhere. So I've got two alternatives then. So I've got this really pretty dotty one here, and I've got the script one. That's always really popular, but I think maybe the dots will do the job for this. So all I need to do is, this is a set of 2, is I can pop these both in at the same time and run them through the embossing folder, Obviously you could use card, you could use designer paper, you could use foil. Foil would look lovely, so we have red and green foil in our catalogue. Oh no, oh bless you, Jill. So Jill's over in Portugal, gone for the sunshine, and it's raining. Bless you. Okay, let me I'm just going to put the embossing through. Sorry, I'm not going to bother bringing the machine over here. I apologise for that. Whoops. There we go. At least you've got nice weather for the rest of the time, Jill. Okay, so that really brings out the texture of the card with the dots. So let's pop this layer on here. Now I've actually picked up this piece, which is Bashful Blue, because that's my last piece. Actually, now I found some Pacific Point. So this one is an old colour. It's not Bashful Blue at all. Something altogether different. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this 9.9 and I'm going to fold it in half, score it, and cut that at 9.9 as well. Blueberry bushel. That's what it was. Got there in the end. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on as my layer. Yeah, we're definitely going to use that side. So I'm just going to use our seal for that. But you could use your glue of choice, so if you prefer to use tape, you could do that. Just going to pop that centrally on there, like so. And then I'm going to pop the two baubles down flat and then raise up the glitter one. So this was such a popular stamp set on Set of Punches last year, I have to say. I'm just going to bring this up a little bit because I'm going to put my sentiment underneath. So let's pop that one down and that one down. And if I was short of space, I could overlap them if needs be, because they're going to be covered in the middle by this one. So this one is going to go on our foam pads, which we call dimensionals. So just going to pop 3 like that on the reverse. And you can bend this a little bit if you want to give it a little bit of shape. Pop that on there. And then I'm just going to have a Merry Christmas sentiment across the bottom. And I do like this one here, Merry Christmas. It's really easy to use because it's a block stamp and it's really easy to cut round. So you don't have to use die cutting machine if you don't want to. So this is a perfect card for a beginner or a casual crafter, because you could get away with doing a whole stack of these cards just with one colour of ink, one colour of card and the snowflake papers, and you could literally make let me see, you could get 9 of these pieces out of every sheet of designer paper, and you have 12. Oh, my mind's gone. 108, isn't it? You can make 108 cards. I think you might need some more blue card after that. Okay, so there's my Merry Christmas. Let me just find an offcut. This one will do. And I really want the same colour, so that's Night of Navy. Let me find Pacific Point to do that. Okay, just looking to see if anybody else has joined us. It doesn't look like it. Right. Okay, here is my Pacific Point. So one of the good things, as you'll know, about Stumping Up is our coordination. And that was the reason I joined Stumping Up 10 and a bit years ago. So that I could get the card and the ribbon and the papers all in coordinated colours for my card making business at that time. Okay, so there's my Merry Christmas. Okay, just going to let that dry, and then that's going to go onto the front of there. What I will do is cut out a piece for the inside while I'm here, and then for the next card I'll just do a little bit of stamping and colouring in with our blends pen so that you can see that. So this is going to be 9.2 cut as a square, just making sure that's drying like so. And obviously you could round these corners if you wanted to. You could cut out some snowflakes from here. There's lots of different things you could do with that. So let's just pop that on the inside. Like so. And I'm using the white layer because I've got the blue layer for the card. And then I'm just going to cut this with scissors. So I'm using our snips for that. Got very sharp points, so just be careful. There we go. Obviously you could also cut this on a trimmer or a guillotine if you preferred. You could also use a die cutting machine. Sorry about that. Okay, so that is going to go on the bottom. I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. Let's see if this might be too big. No, it's just about right. There's 1 and 2. Okay, and that's going to pop onto there, like so. So nice, easy card. You could use some more thread to thread around the tops of the baubles if you wanted to, but I think as a base card that works particularly well. Okay, let's do one similar but with some stamping. So I'm going to pop that one to one side. Just going to stamp the images onto some Whisper White card. I'm going to use my Pacific Point for the images. And it doesn't really matter which ones of these you use. So perhaps I'll do one of each. I could do a small one as well, couldn't I? me grab a block so I can do that. Move these out of the way a little bit. So I'm just stamping straight onto my Whisper White, and the way that the design of the punch works is that it will punch up from the bottom. So the best method is to have your stamps lined up along the bottom of the card, cut the strip, and then do your next lot. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple of those and a couple of the other because I haven't quite decided which ones I'm going to use just yet. That one. So don't worry, I'm not going to sit and colour all of these in. And I'm just going to use a light blue to ink them up, to colour them in, and that's because I don't want to lose the detail of the individual stamps. If I'd used, for example, a Pacific Point pen, all of this detail would effectively be blended out. So what I'm going to do is first of all cover that up. Hope you can see that okay. Hi Joe. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Okay, so I'm just going to use light and dark balmy blue. So I'm going to use the dark one around the edges here, and then I'm just going to use the light one in the centre. Now when you punch these out, there is a border around the edges. So you want to be a little bit careful about the edges of your colouring, because you will find a white border between those. So this one here. It's definitely autumnal here today, that's for sure. Not looking forward to our change in clocks. Certainly. Okay, so that's my darker edge, and then I'm going to bring in the light balmy blue. I'm going to use the wider tip only because it's a larger area that I can cover, and you don't need to be standing here all afternoon watching me. So what I'm going to do is keep a portion of that clear to make it look like the light is falling onto it, like so. We can do the same on these ones. Okay, so let's just do the light bit while I've got that in my hand. The same here, because I haven't quite decided which of these ones I'm going to use. These look really lovely, really in any colour. Reds and greens, they look stunning. Purples, they look stunning. And also gold or silver embossed. It's just a really nice design. Like so, so I've just got that element of light and a little panel there. Okay, let's do a little one and then work with those and see what we've got. So who watching loves colouring in? I wonder. Not everybody's cup of tea, is it? And I would say it's one of those things that you do just need to practice to build up confidence. And I would say some images are just easier to colour than others. Where you've got a very large area of blank space, those can be much more difficult. These have got, because they've got detail in them, your eye is not drawn to the colouring, it's drawn to the overall picture of the bauble. Makes me sound like an art critic. I certainly am not, but I do know from experience that some images are just really easy to colour, and those are the ones that I like the best. So for me, ones that have got some element of interest in them, shading or pattern or design, is by far the best. Okay, now this is going to go onto a long card, so I might intersperse those with some other images or cutouts. So let's take our bauble punch. As I say, you're going to place that in there. Just take your time to centre it. Okay, where you've got it, where you think you want it, just push down and hold it, and then you can pop the rest of it out. And this is a good one for the children, not necessarily doing this element of colouring in, but just using some patterned papers. So I'm just going to cut this down here. I'll do it with scissors as I'm here. But if you've just got some old Christmas papers, or it could be you've got wrapping paper, it does need to be of a reasonable thickness to go through the punches, otherwise it will just snag in the punch. Okay, so this is the small one here. So we've got 3 baubles here, stamped and punched out this time. This is the one where we just literally punched it, but I did some embossing on this one here. So I've got a similar base. I've got a large Pacific Point piece and the same designer paper from the Snowflake Splendor, whichever. And I'm actually going to put this onto a white card. So let me put some glue on the reverse of that. It's getting windier, I tell you. Let's put a little bit of that. Okay. And I could round the corners, I could do some fancy edges, lots of different things you could do with that if you wanted to. Okay, but this is a typical card that we would do at Coffee and Card, which we're all still really missing, but it's just not practical to do it in a coffee shop at the moment. You know, let's all just stay safe. It's good that people can at least catch up and watch online. I know not everybody can. Okay, so this is going to go onto my white card. As I say, if you do this with gold or silver embossing, it's really stunning. But we're just going for a straight blue and white Christmas theme for today, after our holly from the other day. Okay, so let's have a look and see what this looks like. So I could do 2 sets of 3 like so, or I could do 3 large ones and a little one in between. Let's see if anything works with a vellum. I think this is a bit too much detail on there, but I'm thinking if I did one more of these here, let's punch this one out. Like so. And the small one in the centre. So I've got a patterned one in that pattern on either side, and then this one in middle. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. So that was my sort of line of thinking, like so, and then a sentiment across the bottom. So just a little bit stepped up. I'm going to colour these really quickly, because I know if I don't do them now, I'll forget and not do them later. Let's just use the larger side. So I'm trying to stick to my half-hour rule for coffee and card designs. And these are basically cards that you could do at home with relatively minimal supplies. Sometimes I do include the embossing folders and things like that, but it's the sort of thing that we would be able to do at Coffee and Card if we were meeting in person. There we go. Top bit. Sorry, everybody wants me today. I do apologise. There we go. There's my set of two. Okay, so I'm going to do the same design. I think keep these flat and then pop these up in the centre on dimensionals. So what I'm going to do is I always put the centre one down first, and then you can space these out accordingly. So let's just do that. Let's find our dimensionals. I'm just going to put 2 on here. I hope that's in your view okay. There's one. And here's the other one. Behind is make my eyes go a bit funny. I think that's too low. Three. And then this, I said I was going to put those flat, didn't I? Anyway, so I put those on dimensionals. So what I'm going to do is put these on top, like so. So I'm going to put glue on each edge. Okay, so they're just suspended on top. Best laid plans. So bring these down a little bit so they're not right in on top. There's 1 and 2. I have to say I always like blue and white, blue and silver. as well as my traditional red and green, especially for holly and things like that. So this is going to pop there, like so. And then I'm just going to put the same Merry Christmas across the bottom from that same stamp set. See if I can find my piece here that I used. So I really do like that layout. There it is. Sorry, I was looking everywhere for the stamp set. So as I say, you can punch these out with our really pretty vellum. You can also do them in card, in foil. You could foil and then emboss them. That would look stunning. We have red and green foil card. One thing you can't use with the punches is, I was hoping that might fit in there, is the felt or fabric, because they just won't go through the punch. Okay, you can use our die cutting for that. So if it was a die, you could do that. Okay, just going to give that a minute to dry. Tidy up everything else. Leave those out ready. Okay, so literally just just going to cut this out with scissors. You could put some silver behind this. You could put a silver layer behind rather than the blue if you prefer. Entirely up to you. So this colour, as I say, is Pacific Point. There we go. You could use a longer sentiment for this one, but I'm trying to keep it all with this particular stamp set, so in this case it's going to be the same. And I'm just going to put these dimensionals on carefully so that the line of dimensional goes across and doesn't stick out. There we go. Last little bit. Somebody's screaming outside. There we go. So 2 cards. This is using the stamps and the punch, as you'll have seen. This is using the stamp only for Merry Christmas and then the punch just for the background of the baubles. So there we go. Thank you so much. So just a little bit over my allotted time. Thank you so much for joining me. The next Facebook Live I will have will be Monday, but I might pop on over the weekend because I've got the contents of the class in a box to show you, and that does launch today, but it might be later on today that the email goes out. But if you're interested in that, that enables you to craft from home. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope you can stay dry, unless it's Jill in her swimming pool, in which case you can be as wet as you like, as long as you're warm. Okay everybody, thank you so much. Stay safe and look after yourselves and each other, and I hope you can keep crafting. Thank you so much. Bye bye.